Okay, hello everyone. Today I will actually be teaching you the Queen's Gambit declined because it's actually a very tough weapon to fight against. And I would actually show you a game that I played against an international master from Brazil. So the game started with d4, d5, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop e7. I start with bishop e7 because I know that after this line takes, this exchange variation is particularly difficult to fight against. Bishop g5, knight bd7, e3, c6, bishop d3, bishop d6, queen c2, knight g2. And this is a very difficult line to fight against because people usually don't know. In practice, you're never really good with black, and you're the only one that can lose the game if you make a mistake. If white just makes a huge mistake, if it's nothing tactical or nothing too serious, white can still go on and play. But if you blunder, then the game is lost. So that is why I would recommend you to start with bishop e7, because now, if we enter the same line, now they cannot play bishop g5. And if they go for this, you have bishop f5. And now they will never get this chance of achieving, anything that they usually wanted to go for. Then you have to learn some difficult line with queen b3, knight c6, and the game goes on. But like, okay, c6, queen c2 to stop that. But then you have this bishop g4 idea. And okay, and basically you go bishop g4, bishop there. Let's say bishop d3, bishop this, and okay, this is completely playable because they didn't get this chance to kill you over there. And okay, and if you trade off this difficult bishop, you will basically play a Queen's Gambit exchange variation, and white will probably get this minority attack, but you can, fight against this minority attack in a very classical manner. If rook b1, a5, if a3, you don't really care, knight d7, knight f6, if b4, you just trade and you have the open a file, and if they go b5, it's okay. But I think that in that position, you even have the move knight b6, and if b5, knight c4, and takes, no one is really fighting on the c file. So this is like a typical idea of the Queen's Gambit declined, and you have to know these ideas to really understand what I want to teach you today. In the game, he started with knight f3, so I played knight f6, and now if he goes bishop g5, or takes bishop g5, I would have gone h6, bishop h4 castles, and now, even though it seems like, oh, we're playing the same position after pawn takes, but I'm not taking with a pawn, I take with knight, and I'm basically trading off this guy on h4, and if they take on e7, I just take back with my queen, e4 is nothing, I can just take, and I suppose go c5, and my position is alright, rook d8, knight c6, and we have a very playable position, for example, this. The engine would always recommend you simplify the structure first, but I would recommend you just to go b6, bishop b7, knight c6, and okay, castles, this, you're already attacking this pawn. If they go e5, then you have rook d8 or knight c6. If they go d5, okay, now probably you should start with rook d8 first, because I really don't like... Okay, I just don't like the practical point of view of d5. Or probably now you should take and go bishop there, because if they go d5 right away, the pawn is no longer defended, so rook d8, and you're basically catching this pawn. If bishop c4, just takes, and this, I guess, it looks okay. What does the engine say? The engine says, yeah, the engine says it's equal. Rook c1. Ah, I cannot take because he has rook e1 and I'm pinned. Ooh, this is crazy. I don't like analyzing with the engine. Okay, just queen d6. No, knight c6. Uh-huh, to go knight a5. Okay, it's a little bit concrete right now. And if this queen f6, and he can never take because I just take there. And if he takes on b7, I just take that way. And if he goes rook a1, I just take back. And okay, it's still a chess game, but at least you see that this position is definitely playable. But okay, now that you know that, of course, if they trade just everything, then you're just the most happy guy on earth. c5, bishop g4, or bishop f5, probably even bishop f5 first. Ah, no, now there's queen b3 probably, but c6 anyway. Yeah, so okay, you're playing good position, and you will plant a knight on e4. It's equal, but you have a majority on the queen side, and it's very difficult now for white to really keep going with the minority attack, because the position isn't as smooth as it usually is in the Queen's Gambit declined. But okay, in the game, what happened is, of course, the second most played line, which is takes, and bishop f4. Now, I could have gone for what I see as the first engine line. Let me just turn off the engine. Knight h5 is the engine move. I have never seen this move before. I just decided to play c6, which is logical, and this is a very normal move. The problem when you play pawn to c6 is that you have to find a way to use this bishop, because if your opponent goes queen c2, which he did, your bishop won't go on g4 because of knight e5. I already talked about that on my Polish YouTube channel. Bishop d7 is nothing. Bishop e6, again, you want to control the e4 square with, for example, the rook on e8. So if you play bishop e6, you're just closing the e file. So I castled, just trying to stick to the main plan. Its position is still equal, and I'm ready just to play rook e8, knight e7, knight f8, solidify my king, eventually play bishop d6, and that's okay. e3, rook e8, bishop d3, knight d7, g4. g4 is not something new to me. I played a very cool game in Nancy against a woman. Let me just see her name again. I think I just forgot her name. I think it's somewhere here. Is it possible? No, it's not this month. I think it's this one. Yeah, I played against Frederica Ellen Nielsen. She was a woman FIDE master at this. Did she progress, by the way? That's very interesting to me. Yeah, she became a woman international master, and she was actually in the top 100 in the world. Okay, just two girls. Okay, it's okay. Now, she played the same thing against me with another move order, but I know this position very well. And what I ended up playing against her is not, but she played it with h3 g4. That's the only difference. Now h3, and now it's our game. And what I did in the game against her was actually knight g6, and she castled long. And here I didn't take, I played bishop d6, which is just wrong because she just took, and I don't remember what happened. I think she played this or king b1. I don't remember what happened then, but I know that I was just dead lost. And he knows his position better than I do. So what I ended up playing and analyzing when I played this game against her was, of course, do you see the chessboard? Yes, you do, was the move bishop b4. This is what I saw from the analysis. So my theory knowledge stops here, bishop b4. And now I knew that bishop b4, the whole idea is to basically take here and then plant a knight on e4, or I don't really have to take, I can just plant this knight over here. So if he goes g5, knight e4, and I don't know if I'm better, but I would say I'm definitely better. I can play bishop f5 or bishop g6. I can even play knight g6 now, probably even f6 just to open up some flanks. We never know. But he ended up playing a3, but now after a3, you don't have to tell it to me twice. I just take, and go knight g6 or knight e4. Both of them are correct. But notice that even though you might probably don't get exactly the same position that I did in that game, what you still have to get is that I'm fighting over the e4 square. So even though white played d4 and white should have a very good advantage, I'm still having the best control of the center. I played knight g6, which is wrong, I would say, now that I think about that. That's because of another game that I played in the same month against this guy, Michael Bühler, at the Weihnachts Open Zurich Masters. And what happened is that I played against him a game that I shouldn't have won because he knew the opening slightly better than I did. But anyway, he blundered. And due to that, he blundered because at some point, same thing that I just did right now with knight g6, I was threatening to take, but the knight was on e2. So if I had taken, pawn takes isn't great because he couldn't, with the knight on e2, play knight e5. But now knight g6 then also isn't really threatening to take, if he castles, of course, because then he will have a very good control of the e5 square. So it's a little bit wrong. I would say the king is in the middle. I should probably play c5. But now c5 takes, and how do I continue? Probably knight e4. But takes, knight d4. I don't really see. What does the engine say? Yeah, the engine says knight e4 first. Okay, yeah, okay. Actually, it makes sense to prepare c5. Is c5 a move? Yeah, c5 is second move by the engine, by the way. And the idea of c5 takes... Knight e6. Ooh, okay, I get it now. If c6, I take there and there is a pin. Okay, that is why it's working. Okay. Okay, and if you go like, I don't know, castles, then I guess I uh, knight c5. Yeah, and okay, and I have the better structure. Bishop e6. I will play bishop e6, rook c8, and I will just fix the c-pawn. Okay, okay, it's pretty simple, but I don't know why I didn't see that now. Probably it's because of the recording. But anyway, I took, played knight g6. He played bishop g5, which is correct. This is an international master. He understands his position. He just doesn't want to allow me to play knight e4. And also, I was eventually attacking the knight. But I'm asking myself, why didn't he just long castle? Knight e4 is so strong. I don't know. Knight e5, and it doesn't feel like it's strong. The engine says I have a huge advantage after takes, and queen there. Okay, queen b2. Ah, but queen b2, I'm winning a pawn. Okay, king b2. f6. Oh, knight c4. Takes this. This is just equal. f5. G takes. Queen b5. King there. Ooh. No, it's equal. Ah, I have bishop f5 in between. Ooh, and now it's winning. And bishop c2. Okay, this is a little bit crazy, but it doesn't really matter. I play queen d6 anyway, just getting out of the pin, eventually preparing this, and if bishop f4, I just take it. So he took on f6, which is correct. I took back with my queen, and he played 92, which is wrong, I think. He had to go like queen d1 or something else. 92 is very slow, and it just allows me to get in with a tempo, and I played knight f4, which is slightly wrong. And I calculated the line, which the engine says it's correct, but it's just equal. It's this. Now, if you go bishop d3, I have the move queen h4 that I found, and it's correct. And I'm threatening rook e3. Oh, that's great. I didn't know that it was correct. I'm analyzing the game while I'm recording. And okay, and the engine says long castles, but then I think I can just take. Yeah, the engine says takes, and queen f2. No, queen f2 is wrong. It's king g8. And here it's -1. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay, the engine is spinning. And my idea, and okay, and if you do anything else like king f1, then I just go knight h3. Probably knight h5 then. Yeah, because knight h3, I don't know why I want knight h3. It's okay. I'm a little bit tired. But yeah, okay. Actually, I knew that the position was difficult, but not that difficult. Anyway, I thought it was correct. He trusted me, and I took, and I played h5, which is just destroying the pawn structure. And okay, and now here I'm just winning a pawn, but my king is a little bit weak. I played bishop f5, which is correct. If he had gone for check this, and then the queen goes away, at some point I would have some rook h8, but more importantly, I have some king d7. The king isn't getting in, but the king is still slightly weak, and I would probably start some attacks, and some things like that. For example, I wouldn't be surprised if something like this works. Now it doesn't work, but it could have. It could have. So king h2, I just shuffled a little bit, and I thought that he would just take the pawn, which he did. And now I made a mistake. I played rook g8, and I understood my mistake afterwards. I wanted to go for queen d3, this, and then king d7, but I just didn't realize that I'm winning here. The reason why I'm winning is that I will catch this pawn, and my king is particularly safe. But it's a blitz scheme. We don't have time to calculate everything. And if I take, there might be some rook takes g6. So, and I didn't realize. And okay, he played queen e5, and now I know it's a draw, but I still should be winning because of my pawn majority on the queen side. And okay, and I managed to break through in the middle. Now the pawns are a little bit fixed. Yeah, here he couldn't move the knight because I would take the rook, and thank God he has his check, and then he's not losing a piece or anything else. I play king e7 because if I had gone for king somewhere else, then knight d4 would be mate, and this should be a problem, I guess. Or the engine says it's wrong, knight g5. Yeah, okay, but it doesn't matter. The variations doesn't matter anymore. And now here I just managed to change his position and turn it into a winning endgame. This endgame is just winning. Just because my king is a lot faster. And okay, now he lost on time, but this position is still winning for me, I guess. The engine says it's equal, but only with rook f8. Okay, go bishop d3, and what else? King g4. And the pawn is faster. Yeah, but it's still equal. King c4, f5, rook h6, this, king c3. Yeah, okay, now actually I'm still better. Yeah, okay, so the human moves are saying that I'm right. And this, I can go bishop g6. And at some point, if you remove your rook, or something like this, I can sacrifice, and I'm in time to actually, I don't know, to actually move my pawns. Okay, I don't know if I would have found that, but the natural moves are winning for me, or at least good for me and bad for black. So now you know how to handle this g4 attack in the Queen's Gambit declined. Just to speak a little bit more about the theory, just a second. I don't know if there is still someone in the chat right now. What you should be remembering is the following thing. If your opponent is trying to go for what I showed you, the minority attack, you go a5 and you just try to get an open file and you hope to get knight c4 b5. And if your opponent goes for some plans with, for example, let's say, I don't know, let's say this. Okay, let's say, for example, okay, let's just put it the other way. Let's say we really get the main line. E3, bishop e7, bishop d3, castles, knight g2. If you get this type of things with f3, then what you should be doing is basically push c5 when you get the chance to, or b5. B5 is what I'm usually going for, because if white goes for like queen e1, which is a typical plan, I get b4, let's say knight a4, and now knight b6. And if you trade some pieces off, you are always happy to get this pawn majority on the queen side, because this pawn majority will make a lot of damages. For example, I don't know, let's just say e4 takes. You already have some moves like c5 or, h6, the bishop goes back, and for example, some knight e4 tricks. And this is normal because the pawns are way too weak to actually survive. And what happens usually is h6 takes, e5, and people think it's all right. Yeah, but no, because your position is just way too weak. So try to trade some minor pieces off, and you'll get a chance to survive if, of course, you use your pawn majority on the queen side. And that is why white should be attacking with his pawn minorities, because if they don't, we will. And if we will win. So thank you for watching this video. Buy my chess books, buy my chess everything. See you in the future. Take care.